Something is killing these fish. We'll tell you what tomorrow at 5.
Susan Hutchison, Gary Justice, Carrie Wampler, and Steve Raible from your 24-hour news source. This is KIRO News, live at 11.
The truth of it is, you get wiped out after you build up something for so many years. Just unbelievable.
A mighty force of nature sweeps across Florida, ripping away the dreams of thousands of people. It's the fiercest hurricane to hit America's shores in decades, and Hurricane Andrew left a wide path of destruction in southern Florida. But the first major hurricane of the season is not finished yet. Experts say that Hurricane Andrew could hit Mississippi and Louisiana in just a couple of days. Deborah Horn has been tracking the storm. She joins us from the KIRO newsroom with more. Deborah?
Susan, with winds gusting to 164 miles per hour, Hurricane Andrew hit southern Florida hard today, uprooting trees, overturning airplanes, flattening homes, leaving thousands with no place to go. The storm first hit the Bahamas Sunday night, where 4 people died. It left there, headed straight for Florida, slamming ashore just after 5 o'clock Eastern time. One reporter said if Florida is an American paradise, Andrew left it a paradise lost.
We have nothing at all.
Some of them's whole houses are gone. I do have some walls left, but that's it.
The story of the worst hurricane to hit Florida in nearly 30 years is a story of mass destruction, of property in the hundreds of millions of dollars lost, of the prized possessions of the rich reduced to broken hulks. But mostly, this is the story of people whose lives have been blown apart by the winds and the rains of Andrew. Blown apart as surely as the storm has wrecked their homes and businesses, sparing their lives, but leaving them in pain.
Because our house is, we lived on Holiday Road. There's no house. We have no house to go back to. And Paul, my brother, you can't.
Brand new.
Up in Pensacola, come get us.
Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Okay.
I've lost my restaurant, and my bar, my banquet rooms. We've lost our homes. We've lost everything.
President Bush surveyed the damage and declared several Florida counties disaster areas. He has a son living in one of the worst hit areas.
There will be 27 agencies of the government then ready to help in any way that the federal government can help.
Tonight, the National Guard is in Florida to enforce a dusk to dawn curfew and to help police keep the peace, including arresting looters. But finally, this is also a story of the resilience of the human heart and the prayers that were answered.
Anybody hurt? No, nobody was in there. Everybody, we were inside, you know, my parents were in the bathroom with my brother and sister, and I was in the closet with some friends.
One time I thought the roof was coming off, and we would go flying.
So what were you doing at that moment?
What I was doing, praying. Very hard.
When Andrew had finished its destructive mark, 13 people were dead, an estimated $4 to $6 billion worth of damage done. 2.5 million people don't have electricity tonight.
Deborah, the last big hurricane that most of us remember is Hurricane Hugo. How are the experts comparing these two?
Well, they're saying Hurricane Andrew is a Category 4 hurricane, just as intense as Hugo, which you may remember left 85 people dead and nearly $8 billion worth of damage.
Well, we can certainly hope the death toll doesn't climb that high. Thank you. Well, the dangerous hurricane is far from where it could cause any damage tonight, but that will all change tomorrow. Andrew is gaining strength over the Gulf of Mexico, ready for another hit along the northern Gulf Coast. The city of New Orleans, a city below sea level, is under a state of emergency tonight. At least 200,000 people have been ordered to evacuate surrounding lowlands, and more than 1 million others have been advised to leave. While people stock up on plywood and groceries, the city has already closed more than 100 floodgates. Casino boats in Mississippi have been pulled to shore and schools have been closed. Residents of the town of Gulfport stood in line today to get hurricane decals, and those stickers will allow them back into their homes after the storm and hopefully protect their property from looters. Towns as far west as Galveston, Texas are also boarding up, while workers have already been evacuated from offshore drilling rigs. Predicting where a hurricane will hit landfall is an inexact science. But let's check with Larry Rice now to see what our best information is giving us at this hour. Larry?
I'll tell you these days, though, it's getting better with all the computers and the satellite information we have. Here's the center of the storm now, and they just sent an aircraft into this within the last couple of hours. And the latest report indicates now that the hurricane force winds extend out about 90 miles, but tropical storm force winds less than 65 knots, but still quite strong, extend 175 miles out from the center. So New Orleans and the Gulf Coast will be certainly feeling tropical storm force winds by tomorrow morning. I'll give you an idea of what's happening with the storm. It is starting to curve to the west-northwest thanks to an area of high pressure which circulates clockwise, helping to draw the storm up and into the Gulf Coast region. Now, what we're looking at right now is some signs of deceleration now that the storm is starting to curve to the north. Wind speed still at 140 miles an hour, and as Deborah mentioned, still a Category 4 storm, wind gusts to 165, and we're expecting the storm to track along this path, according to the National Hurricane Center, and they're worried at this point that it will gain strength over the Gulf because of the warm water, and that as it gets to the coast, it possibly could stall there, be the worst case scenario for a Category 4 storm, probably the worst damaging storm that we have seen ever in the U.S.
So they're expecting it to hit land in the morning, Wednesday morning.
Not the center of the storm, just the tropical storm force winds, and the winds will continue to increase, and so will the tidal surge, which is also a major problem. The storm surge from this storm will probably cause major problems in the Delta area there in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Thanks, Larry. We'll get more from you a little bit later. Now, in northern Idaho tonight, a standoff between police and white supremacist Randy Weaver is in its fourth day. Protesters have taken up positions along the police lines in support of Weaver.
You're gonna burn in hell, you 11-year-old son. Are you proud of yourself?
Police today found the body of Randy Weaver's 13-year-old son in an outbuilding on the property. Teenager Samuel Weaver was apparently shot in the shootout last Friday, and it was that same shootout that killed a federal marshal. Weaver is an active white supremacist who is wanted on federal weapons charges. Police suspect he is heavily armed, and officers say they are trying to make sure no one else gets hurt.
Samuel's death is a tragedy, as is the death of Deputy Deegan. I emphasize we are taking and will take every reasonable precaution to avoid further loss of life or injury.
Weaver's been in hiding at his remote cabin near Naples, Idaho for a year and a half, trying to avoid arrests on those federal warrants. Police now believe that Weaver and a friend of his are in the cabin, and he's holding his wife and 3 other children as hostages. Joining us now live by phone is Tracy Vetter from Spokane's KREM TV, and Tracy can fill us in on what's happening right now. Tracy?
It appears as though an assault or an attempted assault of some kind has been made tonight by the federal authorities on the Weaver cabin. Our news crew witnessed several objects being fired into the cabin that appeared to be tear gas canisters. This happened at just about 8 o'clock tonight. A number of vehicles were seen traveling up and down the road and to the cabin. Law enforcement here will neither confirm nor deny that any assault has been made on the Weaver stronghold. But at the end of the activity that our crew saw, a light went on inside the Weaver cabin as if to say that they were still here. That's the latest.
All right, thank you. Tracy Vetter from Spokane. Today, federal prosecutors filed charges against the man suspected of lacing Sudafed capsules with a cyanide last year, causing a national panic. Joseph Mealing was arrested yesterday. Today, he was arraigned. U.S. attorneys say they will prove that Mealing's tampering killed 2 people, Stan McWhorter and Kathleen Danaker, who unwittingly took the poison capsules. Prosecutors say that Mealing's motive was money. They charge he tried to kill his wife for $700,000 in insurance money. Mealing's wife, Jennifer, nearly died, but she has since recovered, and she doesn't believe her husband had anything to do with it.
She deeply believes in her husband's innocence. She believes that the facts as she knows them are not the facts that the government has presented in the indictment.
If convicted, Mealing faces up to life in prison for the deaths of Danaker and McWhorter. A college professor in Montreal shot 2 people dead tonight and wounded 3 others, apparently despondent after being denied tenure. Police say the gunman was a professor of mechanical engineering at Concordia University. After the killings, he gave himself up to police. All the dead and wounded are other Concordia professors. More firefighters are being sent to the site of the biggest blaze burning in the West. The Idaho wildfires are advancing toward Boise, right now just 30 miles east of the city. So far, only 4 homes have been destroyed, but the near 250,000 acres of forest already charred has devastated the winter grazing grounds of elk, deer, and bear. Officials say it's an ecological disaster. And wildfires are also plaguing Northern California still, the largest, of course, now near Redding. The blaze in the Shasta National Forest has jumped the fire lines. Yesterday, firefighters thought they had it under control, but today gusty winds gave the fire new life. 3 small towns had to be evacuated. Nearly 3,000 firefighters are trying to get this blaze under control, but it has been a losing battle. So far, this fire has burned at least 100 square miles. Coming up, it's a question parents and teachers are facing across the nation. Do condoms belong in schools? Just ahead, we'll tell you what answer these North Shore leaders came up with. A former foe becomes a reluctant supporter of the Democratic ticket. We'll tell you why. And later, Monday night is a golden night for former Seahawk Dave Craig.
Hi, Herb Weisbaum back in the kitchen again with today's water saver tip. You know, summertime is corn on the cob time. The question is, what do you do with that water once the corn is done? Well, at my house, we put it aside, let it cool down, and then water the plants with it. You can do the same thing when you make potatoes, steam vegetables, or cook pasta. Remember, if we each save a little, we'll all save a lot.
If you'd like a complete list of our tips, send a self-addressed stamped business-sized envelope to Water Savers, P.O. Box 61777, Seattle 98121. And be sure to include that self-addressed stamped envelope.
So how do you like this new car? I love it. It's great. It's new. But tell me what it's going to be like years from now. Tell me like a Subaru Legacy, it has a horizontally opposed engine that can rack up the miles, that it offers anti-lock brakes like a Legacy so my new car can become an old car. Tell me. Give me names. A name like Bill Sandstrom has driven his Subaru 330,000 miles. Stop talking news. Start talking sense. Tell me I got the money. I want to know what to drive.
Save up to $3,000 at your local Subaru dealer today.
I feel fantastic. For 40 years, I've been eating grape nuts and feeling great.
Why does John Flays love grape nuts so much?
If I eat something like grape nuts that is fat-free, I feel good.
Grape nuts, the fat-free natural energy source.
I'm talking about a natural energy that stays with you all morning. I love the taste of grape nuts, and I like the texture of it. Trying other cereals brings me right back to grape nuts.
Breakfast with Post-Grape Nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
Take a week. Try them. I know you're going to like them.
Light. It is the first element of creation. Nothing brings it more elegantly or shapes it more beautifully than Anderson windows and patio doors. Come, live in the light of Anderson windows. Come home to Anderson.
Achieva beat Honda and Toyota in a 100,000-mile real-world challenge. You can lease the Achieva at your Gallant Olds dealer for just $239 a month with no money down.
A designer silk blouse at fine stores, $48. The same blouse at Ross, $16. At Ross, the only difference is the price.
Students in the Northshore School District will have to look somewhere else besides school to get condoms. The school board has voted against distribution of free condoms as part of an AIDS education program. Northshore School Superintendent Dennis Ray made the recommendation against condom distribution, saying that it sends students a mixed message. A recent task force study showed that the majority of the North Shore community is against condoms in schools. Problems for Delta Airlines could mean trouble for Boeing. Delta says it will delay orders for $1 billion in aircraft. We don't know yet if Boeing planes will get the cut, but most likely they will. Delta has 76 planes on order from Boeing, but also buys aircraft from McDonnell Douglas and Airbus. The deferment of a $1 billion order will mean the delay of 10 to 20 new planes. Boeing says so far it's not heard if any of those planes are on order here. President Bush says he has a way to get more Americans working again without raising taxes. At a vocational training center in New Jersey, he announced a $2 billion a year job training program. The president says the program would help young Americans as well as people who've been laid off or are afraid they'll lose their jobs. The president used today's announcement to challenge Bill Clinton's job training program, which requires employers to pay for job training.
And this entire proposal, and yes, it's going to cost money, but it will be funded under the budget caps, and I will project these in more detail as we move into the next budget cycle. My opponent is different. He sees job training as a tax raiser, and he wants to tax workers to pay for their own training and tax small businesses, the one that's the worst.
But Bill Clinton disagrees, and today he and former opponent Paul Tsongas attacked the president's economic plans. Clinton says the president has no way of paying for his new job training program. Paul Tsongas, who has been reluctant to back Clinton, now says he feels Clinton's economic plans are better than George Bush's. Arabs and Israelis are heading into their second day of peace talks. These are the first talks since Israel's change of government, and both sides say they are pleased with the new tone in the Middle East discussions. Today, Israel released 11 Palestinian prisoners as the first step in the peace negotiations. While the Gulf Coast prepares for a beating from Hurricane Andrew, we've got nothing but sunshine around here. Larry Rice is up next with the forecast, and Steve Raible's got Monday Night Football, so stick around.
I shouldn't have to tell you this, but you can save money on home repairs with the right wood preserver. Thompson's Wood Protector has more of everything wood needs to protect it. The Parkers used the wrong brand. Now look at that fading. The Furmans tried something else, and they still got water damage. They'll be calling.
Thompson's Wood Protector. Superior protection from water, sun, and mildew damage.
Thompson's Wood Protector. It's #1 for wood.
Ma'am, your amusement park is one of the few businesses that doesn't advertise in the GTE everything pages. Why is that?
Well, I love these rides, but I hate waiting in line. If I advertised in the book people actually use, there'd be huge lines crisscrossing every square inch of this park. This way, there are no lines ever. We can ride all we want. One more time.
Businesses that want to be successful advertise in the GTE everything pages. Those that don't.
Rude Nissan is #1 in value, and that means making new cars affordable again. For a limited time, you can lease a loaded 1992 Sentra XE 4-door for only $149 per month. That's right, $149 per month. This Rude Nissan price includes the complete factory warranty and free lube and oil changes for as long as you own that car. New cars are affordable again at Rude Nissan on Highway 99 in Linwood. #1 in value.
I teach archery, so I always have to hit my target. Thanks to the always-on-target Hearts 2-in-1 team, ridding bow of fleas and ticks is easy and just as accurate. First, use Hearts 2-in-1 Rid Flea Shampoo. It kills fleas and ticks, leaving him really clean. Then a Hearts 2-in-1 collar for up to 5 months of long-lasting protection. The Hearts team, 2-in-1 Rid Flea Shampoo and the 2-in-1 collar. Targets and kills your pet's fleas and ticks. They really work. Hearts, everything good for your pet.
When I get an XL service, I'll see first. I get a cash machine that I get to use, which is convenient. The deal, if you're in line more than 5 minutes, they're gonna give you $5, and that's cool.
Larry Rice now to fill us in on what's happening in our weather picture, and it's certainly balmy and beautiful compared to what they're expecting down in the south of the country.
Gulf Coast is bracing for a big one with Andrew there, but around here, brace yourself for more sunshine and, yeah, maybe a little patchy fog in the morning hours. Also, you won't have to brace yourself against the cold in the morning because temperatures are going to be warming up over the next couple of days, which will keep the overnight lows from plunging down into record range, which is where they were at Olympia this morning, as well as Spokane. And in fact, one area outside Spokane this morning dropped down to 28 degrees. At SeaTac Airport right now, it's clear and 64. Humidity at 46%. Relatively dry for this time of night. A light southwest wind and a barometer rising at 30.15 inches. Here's the almanac. Our high today up close to 80 degrees. We're above average on the high and below average on the normal. Just 4 degrees above the record low of 45 from 1951. Our 11 o'clock temperatures around the area showing mid-50s to mid-60s. Right now 66 degrees at Boeing Field. There's Tacoma at 60, 54 at Olympia, and the same at Whidbey Island, and 53 degrees at the Stampede Pass weather station. Here's how it looks on the satellite view. High pressure is building in. It's going to deflect most of this to the north, but we're seeing a weak branch of a warm front forming morning here, and that's going to allow some high, thin clouds tomorrow, kind of filtering the sunshine, but really not causing any problems. The problems caused by a cold upper-level low now tracking out of Montana. All of the snow that fell over the past couple of days, places like Great Falls, Helena, and the national parks there will be melting quite rapidly as they warm up as well. Close-up view over the state, some lingering clouds that produced a couple of thunder showers in the northeastern corner. Could happen again tomorrow afternoon, but overall it's a fairly dry pattern across the state. The mountains are looking good, and we're warming up east of the Cascades with temperatures in the mid-70s to mid-80s. And here in western Washington, we'll see low to mid-70s on the coast, mid-70s to upper 80s inland, those upper 80s down in the southeastern corner. Quick look at Andrew again. It's 305 miles southeast of New Orleans. Tropical storm force winds extending out 175 miles. We'll be feeling the effects of that tomorrow morning in New Orleans, but the full force of the hurricane sometime on Wednesday morning. Here's our forecast for you for tonight. Fair and cool upper 40s to mid-50s with light northeast winds. Tomorrow, you can expect sunny, warm conditions after some patchy morning fog, highs 75 to 85 with northeast winds. And our 5-day forecast takes us on through Saturday. Temperatures cooling off slightly. So slightly you won't even notice it Thursday and Friday with a little extra in the way of morning low clouds, and then warming back up on Saturday into the low 80s. Enjoy your sunshine. And again, we'll be tracking Andrew here in the Weather Center throughout the night and into the morning with Nick Walker on First in the Morning News.
Good. Thank you, Larry. Do a good job. Now, Steve Raible, you've got some Monday night football already?
Yeah, it's only exhibition football. Now, don't get so excited about it. But, besides in your condition, we don't want you to get too excited right now. We want you to just relax for just a bit. We've got Monday Night Football with Dave Craig. Now, with the Seahawks, but with his other team. We've also got golf for you down in Portland. Yep, the GTE. No, that was a classic that was just here the other day. The Fred Meyer golfing. Oh, they're dressed up nicely, too. We'll be back.
KIRO News is brought to you by Acura Automobiles.
In the world of luxury automobiles, you expect aerodynamic styling. A beautifully crafted, leather-trimmed interior, the uncompromising safety of drivers and passenger side airbags, and the superior performance of a 24-valve engine. You just don't expect it to be so affordable. The Acura Luxury Lease Program. It's more than a lease. It's a legend.
When she announced for Congress, more than 1,500 volunteers came forward to say they'd help. She's Jennifer Dunn, and over 500,000 people already know what she's accomplished. A leader, a doer, a fighter for the safety and future of our children here and across America. In a time when we've had reason to doubt those we elect to Congress, she sets the standard of what should be. Let's give Congress a good name. Jennifer Dunn.
It's Holiday World RV Center's giant summer clearance sale on all 1992 model motorhomes, travel trailers, and fifth wheels. Choose from the finest quality makers like Holiday Rambler, Alumilite, and Dutchman, all on sale. Looking for a used RV? We've got them all at summer clearance prices. See the all-new 1993 mini motorhome from Dutchman. Save today during Holiday World's summer clearance sale. Holiday World RV Centers in Tacoma and Everett, where RV means real value.
Lee and Perrin steak sauce. Great on beef, beef, beef. Lee and Perrin steak sauce. Great on beef, great on beef, great on beef.
Lee and Perrin's, the steak sauce only a cow could hate. And introducing Lee and Perrin's barbecue sauce.
Get the advantage at your local Jeep Eagle dealer.
Man, oh,
the band has been practicing these new tunes for our sportscast. Holy smoke. Guys, nice job over there. All right. Today, the noose was finally... This is awful to be talking about this thing. Today, the noose was finally tightened on 12 Seahawk players as the first round of cuts was made in an effort to reduce the Seahawk roster to 64 players by tomorrow. Among the more notable names, veteran offensive guard Warren Wheat, who started some games for the Seahawks. Former Husky Chris Rongan also released. Cornerback Harlan Davis. Punter Tank Stevens. Linebacker Marcus Cotton was placed on the injured reserve. 5 more players are going to have to be cut tomorrow. After more than a decade with the Seahawks, Dave Craig was allowed to leave the team last spring as a Plan B free agent. He has found a home in Kansas City. Tonight, Craig, wearing his familiar number 17, completed 8 of 10 passes for 160 yards and a couple of touchdowns in leading the Chiefs to a 35-0 blasting of the defending AFC champ Buffalo Bills. In Cleveland, the Browns are still shell-shocked from the pounding they got tonight from the Minnesota Vikings. Look at this 52-yard Hail Mary of a pass to Anthony Carter. He catches it. It kept a 35-point first half for the Vikings. And from there, they never let up against Cleveland's demoralized and oftentimes inept defense. 56-3 the final. Minnesota under new head coach Dennis Green now 3-0 in the preseason. Of course, friends, these don't count. And if those two teams meet again in the regular season, there are going to be some very unhappy Cleveland Browns. Winners of 6 of their last 8, the Mariners got a well-deserved day off as they take on the surging Cleveland Indians tomorrow night at the Kingdom. The M's returned home early this morning from their first winning road trip of the season back in Boston and in Baltimore. One other note, by the way, Seattle third baseman Edgar Martinez named today the American League Player of the Week. Take a look at this guy. He's been named Player of the Week, month, and year. And today, Cal Ripken Jr. celebrated his 32nd birthday by signing a new 5-year contract worth more than $32 million with the Baltimore Orioles. He got a standing ovation. He must have been thinking about all those zeros because tonight Ripken had a game to forget. He committed an error, went hitless, and stranded 3 runners as the Orioles lost 5-2 to the California Angels. And finally, the Fred Meyer Challenge began today in Portland, where some of the top golfers team up and play in a best ball tournament. There's also charity involved as well. John Daly right there. Oh, nice. John, the consummate professional. The lovely Tennessee salute, we like to call that one. Payne Stewart in the trademark knickers, but his teammate Craig Stadler in knickers as well. Looking good. Walrus, very fashionable there. Not really. And then there's Fuzzy Zeller. He's wearing his regular clothes, but it was his 70-yard chip shot that was the thing of beauty here. Whoa, watch this. Watch it roll. Watch it roll.
Leg is going in.
Man, oh man, is that a great shot.
It looks his last.
Rolls in for the birdie teammate Chichi Rodriguez. They're more than a little bit happy. Your co-leaders, none other than Fred Couples and Davis Love III, leading money winners on the tour. Love drains the birdie putt to move to 5 under par. They're having some fun, playing some golf in Portland, and I guess if it's going to be nice up here, it's going to be nice in Portland, too, for the golf the next couple of days. Thank you, Larry. He said yes.
Good. Thank you. And don't go away. We'll update Hurricane Andrew for you in a moment.
This portion of KIRO News is brought to you by the Safeco Classic.
Revord Jeep Eagle in South Everett announces their year-end Jeep Cherokee Laredo clearance sale. That's right. Revord Jeep Eagle is clearing out every 1992 Jeep Cherokee Laredo on the lot at the lowest prices of the year. Brand new Cherokee Laredos start as low as $15,995. At Revord Jeep Eagle, you'll find savings on Cherokee Laredos of up to $6,000. Save now at the Cherokee Laredo clearance sale from the Jeep experts. Revord Jeep Eagle in South Everett. Vehicle identification number posted at dealership. Price after factory rebates.
It's that time of year again, when families across America get together just for the fun of it. To help them enjoy these precious moments, Pearl Vision introduces Family Eye Care Time, where there are now special savings for children, parents, and grandparents. Just write your own coupon and get a second pair free for you or your child. Call 1-800-YES-EYES for the location nearest you. It's Family Eye Care Time at Pearl, because nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Sure, these frozen yogurts appeal to my healthy side, but I'm looking for pure taste. Breyers first. Ripe strawberries. So refreshing. I forget I'm eating healthy. My taste buds are crying out. Yes! Yes! No!
All natural Breyers frozen yogurt. So real, you can taste it.
Family
families are big, big business, so everybody says theirs is a family car. All right, tell me it has 90 cubic feet of passenger space like a Subaru Legacy. Enough room for 5 so you're close, but not touching me close. Tell me it has a quiet, horizontally opposed engine like the Legacy. There's enough noise already with a family. Tell me it offers all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. A family car is for my family, not some other family I don't care so much about. Tell me I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
Save up to $3,000 at your local Subaru dealer today.
Before we go tonight, we'd like to update you on Hurricane Andrew. It is well into the Gulf of Mexico, heading now toward the Gulf Coast, probably New Orleans, hitting there about Wednesday morning. And so far, 13 people dead, thousands of people homeless in South Florida. Larry, you have something to add?
Yeah, looking at where the storm is bearing down. Again, 140-mile-an-hour winds with this storm, and it is heading toward the coast of Louisiana. That's the likelihood of landfall, and it's expected to be a Category 4 as it rolls onto the Louisiana coast. Here are the areas under the warning from Vermilion Bay, Louisiana, right there in the center of the state, all the way to Pascagoula, Mississippi, and hurricane watches extend all the way from the Texas Gulf Coast, Sabine Pass, and Mobile, Alabama. We'll be keeping an eye on that system. It's probably going to be tropical storm force winds in the morning there at least, and it'll just get worse.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Now, around the horn very quickly, Steve.
No wind or rain problems for the Mariners. They're going to be in the Kingdome tomorrow, welcoming the Cleveland Indians to town.
You'll certainly be waking up to better weather than the folks in New Orleans tomorrow morning. Mostly clear, a little patchy fog, highs or lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s tomorrow morning.
Very good. We hope you all have a very good evening, and we hope you'll join us again tomorrow at 11. Good night.
It was a big country with big men and big women.
So what are you, about 6'2"?
And they really struck it big with Mazda Mania 2, where you can get $1,400 cash back from Mazda on a new Mazda SE5. It's the big sales event of the summer.
Now you can afford to ride in the front.
Well, now then.
Speak up. We're trying to sell trucks.
Don't miss Mazda Mania 2.
At your Puget Sound Mazda dealer now.
I wonder why Mom's taking us back to school shopping.
So it can look good for your girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend. I just need new jeans.
Save now on all jeans at Mervyn's, like Levi's for everyone in the family.
What about Denise?
I don't like Denise.
No, you love her.
You'll love the savings on Lee for women and girls. Plus, save on tons of jeans for everyone.
Oh, Denise, you like my new jeans?
Save on all denim jeans at Mervyn's through Sunday.
Everything's coming up roses at your Better Buick dealers. There's a fine closeout selection on 92 LeSabre with its smooth flowing lines, powerful 3800 V6 engine, and electronically controlled 4-speed automatic transmission. And get up to $1,000 back or 3.9% APR GMAC financing on the LeSabre of your choice. Drop by your Better Buick dealer's showroom today.
Better Buick dealers, the symbol of quality. Buick dealer.
All children are born curious about their world. From the earliest months, kids wonder, why? Until about 12 years later, when most kids wonder how to avoid learning science. Recent studies show the majority of Washington kids are turned off by science, and that's a shame. Pacific Science Center. Call us and help us keep the wonder alive.
Vote smart. Watch KIRO News on Channel 7.